It's me, Tokkuri Yashi. We are back today to have a look at unique equipment 2s which have been given to our Xmas characters Christina, Illya, Nozomi and Christina. Now, unique equipments of late have not been the most inspiring, so with these characters we really didn't expect a huge amount, at least I didn't, but with at least one of these unique equipments they've kind of shocked everybody with exactly what they have done. So let's jump in then and have a look at some of these characters. And first of all, I think we will start with Nozomi. And with Nozomi, we're going to start by looking at her position, and then we're going to have a look at her loot pattern once it's here. Her position, we can see 418. This is important because she does have a lot of passive text in her skills, which boost her skills for the amount of characters that are behind her. And as we can see here, on a water physical team, there's a lot of characters in front and not as many characters behind. So, is that really going to be an issue? So as we can see here, she has got a bit of an old loot pattern. Being an old free-to-play character, if you wanted to grind her out from a story event, you can do if you don't have her. That's where you can get her shards for her. A lot of normal attacks in there, maybe not the best, but we can see there, main 1, skill 1 is the first action, then the skill 2 we're looking at today is the second action. So let's go in then and find our Nozomi here and have a quick look at what she does. We'll go review of her skills and then we'll have a look at this unique equipment. So first of all, the Union Burst here, as we can see, this Union Burst just increased physical defense of our allies. And again, depending on the number of allies behind you, as we just saw, defense will increase. It's 172 times the number of allies behind her. So having not so many allies behind her isn't the best. Skill 1, here she's going to be restoring hit points, deploying a physical nullification barrier for all allies, slightly increasing physical defense, and grants continuous HP recovery. Now as the first action for a, I'm going to say here, PvP character, we don't need healing immediately unless you're getting blasted. Anyway, again, this skill is increased with the number of characters behind. So let's look at this skill 2, which is what has been upgraded with the unique equipment. As it was before, she just dealt physical damage to one enemy character in front and froze them for 3 seconds. That's basically a 3-second stun. As we can see here, this is the skeleton of a PvP character. So have they gone with that with this unique equipment too? We can see hit points, physical and magical defense for applying this unique equipment too, and the boost to this skill 2. So now what does she do with this skill 2? So the changes are the damage is now up from 1.2 to 2.4 times her physical attack. This freeze is up from 3 to 6 seconds. She has been given a damage nullification barrier for physical and magical damage. She will focus on the nearest enemy target and knock them back. Its enemy target within 400 range will be knocked back 600 spaces. So there we go with this Nozomi. Definitely a PvP focused character if you want to change up your PvP teams, get a bit of a new lineup going, try her out in there. That is really where this Nozomi is going to be used. So let's move on. We've got a lot to cover. Move on to our second character today. I think we'll have a look at Illya next. Okay, so here we have Illya, and whilst we are here, let's have a quick look at her position. 255, that's the first thing we are going to note. For a water magical team, she is right at the front. There is nobody further forward than her, not even Xmas Pecorine, who is a water magic tank. So if we're running her on a water magic team, she's going to have to face tank this. And I don't know if she's going to be able to do that. We can see here with her stats, her hit points isn't great. Her defenses are not great at all. She's not got tanking stats. So it might be a little bit of trouble for her. Maybe the right circumstance, but I don't know. Whilst we're here, let's just have a quick look at the loot pattern. Again, an old character, a lot of normal attacks in there. Not the best, but maybe a little bit better than Nozomi's loot pattern. So, what does this Illya do? Let's jump in then and have a look at Illya and what a unique equipment 2 has given us. So first of all, let's have a look at her skills. So first of all, the Union Burst for Illya. And this inflicts large magical damage to an enemy character in front of you, also increasing their own magical attack power. Now this is 180 seconds, the duration of the attack power buff to herself, so she's stacking that constantly. Bear that in mind, it will be important with this skill 2 upgrade. The lower Illya's hit points, the more damage she does. Here we go, typical Illya, doing damage to herself, but in turn increasing the effectiveness of her passive. So here's skill 1 quickly, again increasing her own magical attack by a small amount this time, again another 180 second buff, so it is stacking. Also dealing a large amount of magical damage to one enemy character in front, so it's single target. Again, the lower the hit points that Illya has got, the stronger the attack on this skill is. So here is the skill 2. Now this is the one that we are paying attention to with this unique equipment to today. So this one, before any upgrades, dealt medium damage to all enemies in front of you. So this one is AoE 651 range, also increases your magical attack power by a medium amount, but it consumes 20% of your remaining hit points, and again the lower Illya's hit points, the more damage she does. So let's jump over then to her unique equipment, and it gives her hit points. This one gives her hit points and a lot of hit points. This is just for to apply the unique equipment to 4,000 hit points. So when that gets up to 5 stars, there will be a lot more hit points there for Illya. Will that allow her to phase tank? Well, we'll see, maybe in certain circumstances. So the upgrade to the skill 2, what has changed? She now has a 6-second invulnerability added. She has a self magical attack buff, which has gone up from 15 to 120 times the skill level. So it's now 41,000, but over 41,000 magical attack buff that she is giving herself there. Damage multiplier has also gone up from 1 to 4.8 times magical attack. So that is quite a large increase as well, and on top of that she is restoring 625 TP to herself. Now remember that union based is permanently stacking magical attack buffs for herself as well. Getting more of those off is going to improve the damage that this Illya can do. So that is what Illya has got, a bit of an invulnerability and quite a bit more damage here. Will she be able to work in practice in the clan battle setting? We'll have to wait and see. The test for that will be clan battle when we get our tests and our teams in a few days' time. Maybe, actually, and that's what I've seen, a lot of people have been putting it in PvP as well. Maybe this Illya is going to be another PvP option. It is the first action, this skill 2, so if it is quicker than some other characters, and is she quicker than the New Year's Ray, perhaps, that would stun her? In certain circumstances she can be. Maybe firing off this attack very quickly will be very good for PvP, so we'll look out for her in clan battle. Maybe her position might be a bit of a problem, but again, maybe we've got another PvP option here with Illya. So let's move on then to our final character, Christina. So let's move on then to Xmas Christina. And this is the character that has got the community all excited with what they have done with her unique equipment too. So much so that a thing happened. And that thing is, there is this, or there was, when her details was announced, still you could buy for a few hours this limited character ticket. And being a limited character, Christina, Xmas Christina was on there. So I went and bought the ticket, and we have now got ourselves an Xmas Christina. Her banner, there is a banner up with her on there. I wouldn't advise summoning on it with this pressure on jewels that we have got. We may end up having to wait until Christmas, until December, when there will be a retained banner for Christmas characters, where maybe we'll get some free pulls on it, and maybe you'll be lucky enough to get her there. So let's jump in then and have a look at what they have given to this Xmas Christina that has got everybody really excited. So let's have a look then at what Christina does here, this Xmas Christina. Her skills are a little bit more complicated. She's 2 sides of a coin basically. So this union base here, if you don't have a coin, will deal extra large damage to one enemy character in front of you and increase your physical attack power and gain a coin. If you have the coin already, you will spend the coin and then deal double the physical damage that you would have done otherwise, and that attack will always hit. So there are two lines of the passive here, depending whether you have a coin or whether you don't have a coin, so it will swap from one to the other as you are going through. So here then is the skill 1, which, as we can see here, if you don't have a coin, the physical attack power of all allies who perform physical attacks will be greatly increased. If you do have the coin, then you will increase the physical attack power of your allies who perform physical attacks by a medium amount, so it will be smaller, and you can also increase your physical attack power by an extra large amount and increase the amount of physical damage done by crits here by a medium amount as well. So two different buffs depending on whether you have a coin or whether you don't have a coin. So here we go, here is the skill 2. This is the one that we are focusing on today. Well, actually, I'm going to say we're going to focus on all of them, because this is what they have done with this unique equipment too. So before any buffs, this skill 2, if you didn't have a coin, dealt physical damage to one enemy character in front, and if you did have a coin, it will deal physical damage to one enemy character in front of you. They're slightly lower, and also slightly increase the TP increase of all allies. They're 10 boosts of TP increase. So let's move over then to the unique equipment 2 here. Physical attack and TP boost. TP boost on a unique equipment 2, getting this to 5-star again will be pretty good. And whilst we're talking about TP boost, I will mention that another good thing about this Christina here, she gives 3 TP boosts to all Christinas with her bond levels. So it would be valuable to have it for that reason as well. So the increase then, the buffs to this skill 2. What has this skill 2? There's this huge passive that has been given here. Basically, what this skill 2 does now is it reverts to attack pattern 2 for 180 seconds. And we'll jump over and have a look at this in a minute. So what it does is it changes the union-based skill 1 and her skill 2 to no longer needing coins to get the second part or the alternative part of that passive. So you now will get a attack pattern 2, which is a special skill set. All attacks and attack support are now double instances. Instead of just doing one or the other, she gets both. On this skill 2 specifically, the damage is up also from 2.4 times the physical attack from 1.6 and 1.8. So double instance damage on this skill 2 at 2.4 times physical attack. And on top of that, she also changes the action speed of allies within a 200 range of herself. 200 times. She's a 200 times speed buffer here. So she's basically Winter Uni without the healing, but with pretty good damage. The one thing though about this speed buff, it does say that she moves to the nearest enemy target when she performs this skill. I did check, however, and people are saying that this action speed buff is put up when just as she moves back to her position, so it will be better within that range. So if we go over here then, and we will have a look at her position and some of these special skills. We don't want Illya there, we want Christina. Let's go back over and have Christina. There we go. So right, so we will bring up here, we can see that Christina is at position 265, so with that 200 range for the action speed buff, or everybody forward will get it, everybody back will be covered by it, apart from Winter Uni and Summer Suzuna. Summer Suzuna is missing out here. If you do have this Christina on your team as the action speed buffer, but this is what they're giving it, and on top of all of that, just giving her action speed buff would have been crazy. But why couldn't they have done that with other characters like Student Carol and the Halloween Joker? Why didn't they change their action speed buff? Well, then they can give it to this Christina. Maybe it's because it is Christina. Now, where is she? We need to find her back again so we can go in and have a look at her special skills. There she is. So we can see here, this is a loop pattern. She normally had this, well, originally had this attack pattern 1. She now moves to this attack pattern 2, and you can see the attack pattern 2 is better. There are less 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the same amount of normal attacks in there. So, is it better? It looks a little bit different. It's not too different, really, is it? But what is the change is now she gets a special. She even gets a special union burst here, and a special skill 1 and a special skill 2. And like I said, instead of her having to choose one or the other depending on the coin that she has, she gets everything. So she's doing double instance damage, big double instance damage there on this union base, as well as raising physical attack to herself. And it says remove the mark there, but that is irrelevant. You don't need that coin mark to do this. Getting a double instance, a physical attack boost to friendly allies there. Both of these will be applying. Raising the physical attack of herself, 14,000 here, and a 25% physical crit damage buff to self on this skill 2, or skill 1 even. And there is the skill 2 that we've gone over. Pretty good. Double instance damage there. As the invulnerability, the TP boost to all friendly targets, and this action speed. However, I will say this action speed will only be activated on a second use of this skill 2. As you can see, it will be her 4th action. She'll do the main one, then the main 2, which will then activate this second loop pattern, and then she'll do a special attack, and then the special skill 2 to get the action speed buff and everything else up there. So there we go. That is the new unique equipment for Christina, Illya, and Nozomi, the Xmas editions of them. The test for this Christina, again, I think she's going to be a big part of every water physical team moving forward. The real test we will see in a couple of days' time when we get our clan battle teams. We will probably be running this Xmas Christina in there. We will see how she does. I will say her damage is very good, but it's not mega big damage. She's not the best DPS on this team anymore. Summer Rae and definitely the Princess Sheffy are probably better. Princess Sheffy definitely better DPS characters, but with this Christina basically being Winter Uni with good damage, minus a little bit of healing, that just shows how strong she is. And what they are doing, they're power creeping. Even like characters like Winter Uni are not safe with the power creep and what they are doing with these characters. Anyway, let me know what you think of these unique equipment twos. I am Tokkuri Yashi. Thank you very much for watching. See you again for another video. Bye. Hey.